Bonjour, good day, how are you doing? Bonjour, good day, how is your life? With 3 albums, this is a short one and I'll cut through each record with a knife. I finally got to sing but at least I'm a happy singer. I don't think I'd have the emotional range to go over the blues style unlike today's band. I stumbled across The Decline by accident in 2011 with their song Let's Get Drunk, and I was immediately sold on them. I've listened to all of their albums since release, so this isn't a blind one, and I thoroughly enjoyed the band, despite the fact that they're breaking up after finishing a recent tour in Germany. They formed in 2009 in Rennes, Brittany, France, and have kept the same lineup, I think. I like this band, but I won't have a lot of background to cover, so let's just jump in without wasting much more time. Now, let's face the music. We saw it with their first album, Broken Hymns for Beating Hearts. Released in 2011, it's the band's early release on the Can I Say label, and I couldn't find anything about producers for any of their albums, so let's just assume that was all the band's work. Speaking of the band, let's talk about the members and what they do. Lead singer Kevin Gordon, guitarists Thomas Goose Laguerre and Xavier Zev Provost, bassist Cedric Ced Deo, and drummer Antoine Limerson. Well, that was quick. I sadly have nothing in terms of background except for there maybe being a dude named David Reinhardt who did something for the band. It's just vaguely described as instrumental work on Discogs, so let's say he provided some extra stuff for the first album and leave it at that. It would be his only appearance, so that leaves me sort of bone dry in terms of background info. So let's do what we've done before and just describe my experiences with it instead. As I mentioned in the intro, I found their song Let's Get Drunk by accident, just letting some playlisters thing on YouTube, and not expecting a band like The Decline to be playing after what I think was some Escape the Fate. I don't remember, but I liked what I heard and I didn't catch their debut until early 2012, so I was a little bit late to the party. I still really like this album though. It's a good blueprint for the band's sound, mixing things up well with both punk and the blues styles, with some elements of folk and country sneaking in. But don't be mistaken, it is still most certainly a punk record by a punk band. Just a punk band that pushes the boundaries in really nice, innovative ways. I guess that's part of why the band isn't as big as a name as I'd like them to be. A style like theirs can only find such a niche audience. I mean, some bands get lucky by trying something weird and interesting with punk, like Streetlight Manifesto and Zebrahead, and some bands just don't get as lucky. Don't get me wrong, as I feel like The Decline are just as talented as either of those two bands at what they do, just not as huge a name. Which is a shame because the bands know how to structure their sound even with this. There's an appropriately melancholy feel to it, and captures the emotions of blues and the energy of punk, balancing both out well. The usage of acoustic elements works well too, and only appears when it needs to, and it doesn't overtake anything, so it matches the tone well. The lyrics go of things such as love, missing people, and taking back what's yours, and it creates a nice balance, and it's thanks to the band as well, obviously. Kevin's voice has a low, lovely, crooning drawl, and it fits well with the band's style. Goose and Zeb provide some awesome guitar work with some good solos and riffs. Ced's bass work plucks deep and sounds nice and thick and groovy, and Antoine's drumming is furious, balanced, and just really good. Standout songs include I'm Not Like You, A Punch in My Head, Let's Get Drunk, the closing song and one of them, and my favourites in If You Ever. Broken Hymns for Beating Hearts is a cool title, a great sound, surprisingly good production value, and it's a fun, balanced listen. I can recommend this one. We then reached their second album, 12A Calvary Road. 12A, that's, yes. Released in 2014, the band would switch to the Kicking Records label, and it's also their longest album at 47 minutes and 14 seconds. To be honest, I'm only basing the length of these albums by what YouTube deems them to be, and since this is their only album to breach past the 45-minute mark, I sort of took what I could get. This is also their first album without involvement from David Reinhardt, whatever it was they did last time, as his last work with the band was an EP that they released a year before this album. Speaking of this album, it did take me by surprise, but at least I listened to it the year it came out. You gotta remember, I listened to the band's debut in early 2012, just narrowly missing it in 2011. But yeah, the fact that this album took me by surprise is a good statement about it. It also adds another sort of side effect that because the band isn't as well known outside of their native France, the promoting for their albums is usually limited to tours and some singles and trailers, with very few music videos that I could find. It's long for a punk album, sure, but it's also maybe the band's most experimental with its sound, and yet it is still a punk album at the end of the day. One thing I noticed with this album was a slight difference in production value in contrast to their debut. I guess their first one had some buzz since their Let's Get Drunk video was on Blank TV's YouTube channel, so it makes sense for what happened. That does leave me unsure as to if it was the band producing or not, but let's keep saying it was anyway because I can't find anything that says otherwise. But yes, back to this album. So, just because there's a change of production doesn't mean it's a bad one, and it feels like the band has more control, and when a band does their own stuff, I really like it. The Decline took what they had from the first album and ran with it for this one, with a more measured approach and a mix of styles, while still making each song sound like a bluesy punk anthem. The structure matches up well and is just built up amazingly with the added elements not usually found in punk. Even the lyrics are more challenging, focusing more on the story and including some political and societal references too. They can for a darker sounding album all in all. And it works because the bands just kick ass again. Kevin's vocals just sound a lot darker and they have a bit more range. Goose and Zed provide good verse and solos with some new stuff tried on the guitars too. The acoustic elements especially are really good. Zed's bass is more pronounced here with a good tone and groove to things and he carries a lot of the album I think. And Anton's drumming is more measured, still heavy and fast. Standout songs include Let's Turn Shit Into Gold, Proud Not to Be Proud, A Match and a Barrel of Fuel, the title track, and my favourite in Out of the Maze. 12A Calvary Road is a dark, heavy and experimental blast of an album that I really enjoyed. The only little drawback that I can think of is that the tracks were sort of in the wrong order when I listened to it on YouTube. So it did confuse me a little bit, so just be slightly cautious of that, but that's just a tiny, tiny thing, and I really, really still like the album, so yeah, still really good. And finally, we reached the band's third, final, and so far last album, Heroes on Empty Streets. Released in 2017 through Kicking Records again, it is the shortest album at 37 minutes and 28 seconds, making it about 7 seconds shorter than their debut. Despite the band having broken up by now, sort of, I don't really know, this is one hell of a last hurrah to go out on. It's the most straightforward punk album of the three, which could explain the length. For the last one, they wanted to experiment and they were given time to make that work. For this one, they wanted to stick to what they know, and what they know is catchy punk hooks and deep lyrics. As people who watched my Best of 2017 video know, this was an honorable mention and it's just so damn good. It's maybe the band's best album in terms of pacing, lyrics, musicianship, and probably just literally everything else. Let's put it this way, if there was ever an album that deserved to get a band more attention, this is that album and The Decline is that band. It does have fewer experimental elements, but still mixes in the blues side while adding a melancholy tone to an album with a lot of punk speed in it that doesn't really feel forced. It all flows naturally and feels organic, and the production is a big help. Again, assuming that this is the band handling it, they seem to have a bit aggressive what they're doing, bringing out all of their instruments well without overshadowing each other, which works well because there's more gang vocals and chants to this one and it sounds amazing. So it reminds me of While She Sleeps a little bit, in a way. There's a great tone to it all as well, with the blues side not being too bluesy and the punk side not being too punky. They mesh well together when they need to, and you get the feeling that the band could have made either a straight-up punk album or a straight-up blues album, and still would have kicked ass either way. But thankfully, we get the measured approach without sacrificing the good parts of either side. It adds to the solid structure, and the lyrics, as previously mentioned, are surprisingly thoughtful. There's stuff about love, war, fighting, and standing up for yourself. It always feels like there's a concept, and the band writes from the fucking soul, and it hurts me that not enough people know about them. The band themselves are great too, obviously. Kevin's vocals still sound deep, making them easier to discern, and they sound absolutely great. Goose and Zed's guitar work is stellar with awesome riffs and really nice licking fast solos. Zed's bass is thick, deep, and groovy as always, and Anton's drumming is fast, heavy, but still measured and awesome and good. Really, really good. Standout songs include We Love Our Scars, the title track, Outsiders, Someday Somehow, and my favourite in Faithless Gospels. With great production, songwriting, and balance, Heroes on Empty Streets is the kind of send-off that the Decline deserves. Energetic, fun, bluesy, melancholic. It's just so good, and I can definitely recommend it. So, let's round them up. Most favourite is Heroes on Empty Streets. Just listen to it, okay? I can't say anything more than that. I can't say anything more that I haven't already said. Least favourite is Broken Hips for Beating Hearts, but I don't really have anything wrong with it. It's just still a solid album, but I just think that the band got better as they went along. I don't have any major criticisms about anything that the band has put out, and I don't have any praises that I can give that I've not said already, so that'll do it. Just find the time to listen to all the band stuff. It's really, really good. I don't know, I guess I just don't feel any blues about it. Yeah, still doing puns. Anyway, I'll see you next time for my first two-part episode of the season where I cover Buffalo, New York's own Every Time I Die. What episode that's going to be. Thank you for watching, you're awesome. Bye-bye.